Welcome, Modern Talkers. This is Modern Talk? Modern Talk. Why? I mean, every week we're moving up. It's crazy. I'm staring into a real camera right now, which is very, very weird. I always thought that was like half the battle when you were acting and stuff, because looking into a camera is like so mystifying and like creepy in a way. It's really weird, and I'm the only one in the room right now, but it's still creepy. And it was even scarier when you don't understand cameras. You're like, what's going on in there behind that lens, you know? But now that like I went to film school and stuff, it's less scary, but it's still like, are you always watching me? But yeah, I don't know. That's just what I thought of. And so the TV studio that I work with or for or whatever, they're letting me use this, which is super nice. So I just took stuff off their mantle and put my own. So this is a love. That's a quote from me. The home group that I'm a part of for the church that I go to, embarrassingly, we watched The Bachelor after the home group. So we do the home group from 6 to 8, and then from 8 to 10, it's we watch, not everyone in the home group, but we watched The Bachelor. And I thought it was so dumb at first, like everyone. And then they like pulled me in, and it's fun. I would never watch it by myself. And like I even missed the finale like 2 times in a row or something. And I didn't watch it because I can't watch it by myself. It's just too lame. But it's fun to like be like, did you see? Why would that? I don't know. It's fun. So embarrassingly, I like The Bachelor, but they're always like, oh, we love the drama. Like, oh, I wish they would fight each other or something. And I'm like, I'm here for the love. Like, I love love. I said that. What did I say that in? I said that in my stand-up. Like, I love love. I don't know if you heard. I love love. And love. And there's something else I said it in. Maybe a blog or something. Probably in another podcast. I finally got Dunkin' again, dude. I haven't had it for weeks, just because I've been too busy and stuff. But I got here like extra early because I was excited for this. I was thinking about even doing this earlier than I usually do, just because I was so excited to actually use all this stuff. And I bought my own memory card thing so that I could have my own thing, blah blah blah. That ended up not working out, but it'll work for next week. So they said I love love, and you know, they had a Bachelor themed birthday party for my Myrtle mom, and so anyway, so that's why they made that for me, and then I kept it. This is my therapist painted this for me, which is super nice, and it's like supposed to represent a bunch of different things, and like she didn't really tell me what it meant, but she's like, whatever you get from it is what you get from it. And I was like, okay. So I really love it. It's one of my favorite things. It's just, that's so cool that like it was like for me and about me, and so she was like meditating on me when and like what I represent or something like that. I can't, for some reason I don't feel like I'm explaining it well, but that was super nice and super cool. And then this is my favorite album of all time. I don't know, I wish I could see where I was in the frame, but yeah, because the internet, it comes with, it doesn't come with, but Childish Gambino wrote a script to go along with the album. So you read the script and then it says play Crawl, and so you play it, and then that adds to the script, and it's a really interactive like world building experience, and it's just beautiful and groundbreaking and just so good in my opinion. So you can't, unless you do something that cool to supplement an album, I don't think can be a better album in my opinion. Oh yeah, and then this is Mr. Rogers, and my best friend Pete gave that to me because he found it. He like works at a free store or something, and people donate stuff, and he's like, hey, do you want this? And I was like, of course. And I read Mr. Rogers' book, his audiobook he reads, and this is different, but I think it might still be fun. I haven't read it yet, which I think you're not allowed to put it on your mantle or whatever until you read it, but suck it. And this is, true modern talkers will know, this is my muse, if you will. So that's just for me, I guess, because there's no room on the mantle, and I just like to look at it. So I got contacted to be part of this new, and like I'm not special. I'm sure they just reached out to every podcaster ever. Wow, you're so early. Okay, the guy came early. Big surprise, am I right, ladies? So we had to stop for a second, and so now I'm back to the show. Yeah, I think I was just transitioning into wisdom. Someone contacted me who, like I said, doesn't make me important just because they probably contacted every single person that has a podcast, and they said they're offering me the top badge or something, which just means like the blue check mark version of Twitter kind of thing. So like, I can't hurt. So it's kind of cool. They have prompt questions people could ask you, and you take a minute and answer it, and hopefully that gets your like podcast out there or whatever. So I got a few questions. I don't know if it's like from bots or whatever, from whatever, it doesn't matter, but they're fun, good questions. So Mindful Monday asked me, what's the most adventurous thing you've ever done? So I think the most adventurous thing I ever did was I peed off of a bridge. That was pretty fun. That was in Lynchburg, and then the second most adventurous thing I've done was I was ADing, assistant directing for a short film for a long time. I don't remember, like definitely hours and hours. And then I got home or back to the apartment at like late, like 11 or 12 maybe. And then my friend Pete and his friend that was there, they're like, oh, we're doing a sunrise hike, and do you want to come? And I was like, yeah. So I was super tired, and so we were like, we shouldn't go to bed because it's so late and we have to leave and it's an hour away, and then we have to leave, and then we have to hike up to be at the top of the mountain when it's sunrise. So that's going to be hard, and we have to leave at like 3 or 4 a.m. or something, probably 4. So we just stayed up and like ate ice cream and watched Workaholics, and until it was time to go. And it was super dark, obviously, and I don't know if we used our flashlights or not. I think it's better to like let your eyes adjust, so I think that's what we did. But then we got to the top like a little bit early, which was good, and then it was so cloudy and foggy that you couldn't see the sunrise. So it was like, might as well not have happened. And so that was a pretty adventurous thing. And then on the way up, I don't remember which one. I think it was my right ball hurt so bad, and I didn't know why, and it was like scary, and it hurt to walk, because when it walks, I know some girls might not know this, but like, it doesn't stay completely stable. So that was really hard, and not my ball. The hike was. There's a lot of innuendos in this one. Of course, like my most professional one is like my dirtiest for some reason. So what was I saying? Yeah, so on the way down, and then I was like worried, like what's going on, and literally like a couple months ago, Pete was on a the other person was Noah, by the way, if anyone knows who that is anyway. But so Pete was on a trip, and one of the kids he was with, his like ball exploded or something, and like on a trip, and had to go to the hospital and get it like removed. So that story was in my head, and my ball hurt, and so obviously I thought of the worst, and it was scary, and then I looked it up, and it said like it could be from extreme exhaustion. So I think it was because I worked like a full day or whatever, and then stayed up all night, and in the morning to go on a hike, like another physically strenuous thing. And then once I slept for like 14 and a half hours, I don't remember the actual, I don't flimsy up the numbers, but I was exaggerating. Slept for a long time. It was like almost completely gone, and then like by the next day it was completely gone. So that was the most adventurous thing that I've ever done, besides peeing off a bridge. The answers are only supposed to be a minute long, so I'll cut it off after the bridge one. What would you change about the way you were raised? That's a super deep one. The minute answer is nothing, I guess. I wanted a sibling for a long time, but I like the way I am, and I think I'm more introspective because I didn't have someone else to like distract me and stuff like that. So I'm glad the way I am, and you can't change anything, so why would you do that or want to do that? Because you can't. I don't know. That's kind of a boring answer, but I like who I am now. What do you love about where you live? This is an interesting one. Oh, I'm sorry. The last one was from Anonymous. I don't know if that's like an actual anonymous person or that's the podcast name or something. But this one's from David Cardinal. What do you like about where you live? And that's, I'm leaving soon, possibly. So this is like extra special or something. I like that it's a tourist town. I like that there's so much going on all the time. I like that they have like this big Ferris wheel and it's lit up and the lights change constantly. There's this huge King Kong looking thing, also right where the Ferris wheel is, and I like that it's like bright and fun, and cause like I go back to Pittsburgh now and it's like, no lights unless it's Christmas, but it doesn't feel like really happening unless you go into the city. So like I like that this is like a tourist town, and there's so many good food places, obviously expensive, but if you feel like treating yourself or whatever, But you could also find good stuff like anywhere. But yeah, I like that. I kind of like that it's a tourist city, and people like the locals here are like, "Oh, I hate tourists, dude." Like, dude, you wouldn't live here if there weren't tourists, because tourists come here because it's awesome. So you either get to live in an awesome place and hate tourists, or live in a boring place and don't even know what tourists are because no one comes. And I came here as a tourist first, so I'm biased or whatever, but that's my thought. I live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, if people didn't know that. And then another one, for some reason it doesn't say who it's from, but it says, what's the best compliment you've ever gotten? I forgot to think about this one. I don't know. I try not to think about my compliments too much, because you don't know what their motive is and stuff. Like, I don't know. I take that with a grain of salt a lot of the times. Last night at kickball, a guy he's so stupid. I think he was on either the worst or this like third, like at best the third worst team. They scored 2 runs on us the whole game, and we scored like at least 9, and it shouldn't have been. They shouldn't have even got 2. But the point is, he's on a really bad team, and he wasn't particularly good. He wasn't particularly bad either, but he wore like a Karate Kid, how a Karate Kid would wear not a bandana, but like the thing across your forehead, and then he had eye black all over, and it was like dripping, he just like put it down too. And like, you did that for kickball for 2 games on a Tuesday? What are you doing? I like that he's having fun with it, but like, he didn't do it. He didn't have like the right energy for that guy that he was being. Like the first thing he said, like, I'm the leadoff kicker, so like the first thing that anyone said, like right before the game, he said something like really stupid, like just obviously trying to get me and the umpire to look at him to like be like, "Oh, dude, that's hilarious," or like, "Oh, that's so cool," or whatever. He just wanted a reaction, like you could totally tell, and I didn't even look at him, because I don't like to give them the satisfaction, the other team in general, unless they're being like genuinely cool and I could tell. Then I'll like laugh with them and stuff like that. But I could tell that he just wanted attention, clearly by the way he was dressed. And then the next time I was up to bat, he's like, "Oh no, it's this guy again," and he was like. He was like, this is another longer than a minute one. He was like, "Your hair is legendary, man." And I was like, "Thank you." And I think he just probably wanted me to be like, "Oh, dude, and your black paint around your eyes is so cool." But what I wish I would have said later, I thought about, I should have said, "Thanks, but I don't date ninjas." Which is funny to me. I'm not going to explain it. Next. So another kickball story. This is a good segue. The other thing I wanted to say about the best compliment I ever gotten. One time someone complimented my eyes, like, "You have nice eyes," or whatever, and like that made me feel really good. Like, that was the first time someone said that to me or whatever. That was like not my family, and then like I thought about it later. I did this joke in my stand-up that like it's such a weird compliment to be proud of, because like I didn't do anything for these. I know they're beautiful, but like all I had to do was like not stab my eyes out with a fork for me to enjoy these eyes, or for you guys to enjoy these eyes. I can't see my eyes right now. I know that's funny. So yeah, if anything, we should be thanking my parents for having the mutual genetics to make my eyes. So yeah, another kickball story. This was from last week. We were playing a really good team, and I got into second base, and the second, or the shortstop was, once I got there, she's like, "I'm watching you, Tommy," and I was like, I didn't say anything. I just like looked at her and like studied her for like a split second, like, "Do I know you?" And then I just played it off like, yeah, you better watch me. I'm that good, you know. But I didn't say anything because I thought it'd be cooler not to say anything. And then she was like talking to me like we were old enemies, and that have like a mutual respect for each other. But like I don't know who she was, so I didn't have anything. I didn't have disrespect or respect for her. And then she said something again, like, "Stay on that base, Tommy," or like something like that. And I was like, "Do I know you?" And I didn't say it like that because it's sadic the way I said it. But what I wanted to say was, or I did say, "Do I know you?" Like genuinely, and it wasn't like mean. I don't know if she took it that way, but she just was like, or like whatever, and like she didn't answer it. She just like left it open to whatever. I don't know if she's like, "You know who I am, come on, don't play that game," or I don't even know. So the next time I got the second, I overran it on purpose to like bait the person to throw it, and then I realized that I stopped like right next to her, and then I did so I stopped next to her, and then I went, and then I walked back to the base, and just to like mess with her, and I think it did. She didn't say anything after that, so I thought that was funny that I don't know. I think I was in her head, which is what I wanted to do, and I love getting in people's head in the game. Like, I'm so good, it's boring, so I have to like play the game within the game, you know what I mean? And I'm obviously kidding about like I'm so good I need extra hardness or whatever. But last night, the pitcher was like, "All right, guys, first or second, whichever base is easiest." And then I was like, "Or just catch it out of the air," and like as a joke, like obviously that's always an option. So, and then I was like, "Oh, I bet the guy's gonna kick it to me." So like I'm gonna have to back this up, and then he did, but the ball was oblong. It was one of those oblong balls that was pumped up too much, and so it like did like a zigzag in the air, and as I was running to get to the spot to catch it, it zigzagged, and then I like adjusted to it, but I like misstepped or whatever, and the turf was slick, so I fell, and then I had to go get it, and so that's I think how we let in at least one run. But yeah, so anyway, one thing I have written down here. Oh, I forgot I have something after this later. It's really cool. I have I could use my phone and my iPad at the same time, because before I couldn't use my phone because I was using my phone to record, and now I have this sweet new mic. I feel like I need to be up here, but I definitely don't, because I had someone test it for me, which is really nice. The girl I work with, she happened to be in the neighborhood, and I was like, "Hey, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm actually 2 minutes away. I'll help you." So that was really nice. So we have her to thank, and I don't know. I might have to have her do that every week. I don't know. Probably not. I'll hopefully figure it out by then. But where am I? Boom. Oh yeah. I don't know where I am because I was looking at my schedule thing. So I have a lot of time. So something I wrote down with no context was managing peas, and because I realized that I have to manage when I pee and stuff now, which I never had to do, and it's so weird. Like, I have such a small pee sack. What is it? Bladder. And I mean, it's not like super small, but and I noticed if I have food in my stomach, then it has like a bigger capacity. I don't know if it's like getting soaked up by food or how that works, but if I drink like one bottle of water, I have to go, which wasn't the like a 12-ounce whatever a normal thing is, which wasn't the case back in the day. But yeah, so I have to like, even if I have to like, I have the slightest hint of having to pee, I have to do that before I go somewhere, because then, it's just weird. I've never had to manage my pees before. I would just like, I would either go when it was convenient or just like wait until, I would just wait. But now it's like, I can't wait. It's like gonna explode. It's just so weird. So I was here at the church. They had like a night of worship, they called it, I think. And I helped run the cameras, and I was on one of the cameras. That we have two cameras. One, they call it like roving or something. I don't like that term for some reason, but it's just on a monopod, and you like go around and get cool shots. And then the other one's just on a tripod, and it just sits there, so you don't really have to do anything. So I was like really bored because I don't like music in general usually, unless it's Childish Gambino. But the truth is that I have really specific taste in music, and worship music is not my taste at all. So I was really bored, and it was too loud. That's also a thing I don't like about live music, is it's always too loud. And I had AirPods in and noise canceling, and it still was too loud. Like, why is it? It doesn't need to be that loud. You're killing your ears. Like, musicians, why are you doing that? That's crazy to me. I don't know. Anyway, so I snuck away. I was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and I went to the bathroom, and then I thought I smelled pizza, and I was like, do they have pizza in there without us? And I knew no one was back there because everyone is in the room worshiping or whatever. And and so I went in there, and there was like 4 boxes of pizza that were like not eaten, but like some of it was. So it's not like, I guess they ate it before or whatever. And I was like, I'm gonna have one. And so I didn't eat yet. So I was like, free dinner and pizza while I should be working. That's perfect. And to be, I was volunteering. I wasn't getting paid, so it's not like I was stealing and, and like on the clock. So like I ate that pizza, like, like, I'm being bad, like that kind of thing. And it was the best piece of pizza I ever had. Just because it was like so exciting to like scavenge pizza and all that stuff. And then it was just Papa John's. It like wasn't like even a good brand. I don't have anything against Papa John's, like 40 pizzas in 30 days.
I've had over 40 pizzas in the last 30 days. Living currently in Mark Shapiro should be in jail. He has no pizza experience. He's never been in the pizza category. I would just say, stay tuned. The day of reckoning will come. The record will be straight.
Why not set the record straight now? I mean, what is it about the record that's...
I've had over 40 pizzas in the last 30 days. Stay tuned.
Yeah, so Papa John's, it's not like it was Domino's or like a local good one. I like Domino's the best as chains. Anyway, but you got to get the handmade pan pizza, the like thicker one. Anyway, so it was actually really good. I don't know if they got like a special Papa John's one, but I got a papadilla from Papa John's because I got suckered into that because I was like, I really like this concept and it might be good. I haven't had Papa John's in a really long time, and the ingredients, like literally the thing is better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. So their ingredients was trash. Like the sauce was bad, the dough was bad, there wasn't much cheese and stuff on it, and it was just overall bad. I was like, wow, really? Like they could get away with saying better pizza, better whatever? I guess how do you prove that? I don't know. Like better than who? Better than what? Yeah, the papadilla, and I was like, if this is how this tastes and it's like a specialty, like how bad must the pizza be? But this pizza was actually like good outside of it being better because it was a eight of a pizza. But then I told this to one of the people that we worked with. I was like, oh, I stole a pizza. They're like, oh no, that's for the volunteers. And I was like, no, don't retroactively ruin my hate eating of pizza and stealing. So that was fun. 'Cause I got the feeling of being bad, but I wasn't actually being bad. So that was fun. Anyway, I also want to talk about my sweater. Have I not addressed this yet? Oh man, I have hair all over here, man. That's the price of having sexy hair. Someone asked me why did I decide to grow my hair out, and I said because I decided to be sexy, and so that's why I do that. But I wear I'm wearing this, and it was way too much money, and that's awesome. And then I saw on the tag that it's dry clean only, so I have to pay for it even more, which is insane. So I'm just never gonna wash it. Like I'm not gonna wear it very often, and when I do, I'm not gonna do things that are potentially sweaty. And it's pretty cold in here, which is really nice. So I'm not feeling sweaty, but I'm gonna take this off like as soon as I can, and then get to it. But this is Golf Wang from Tyler the Creator, and it's fun, and it has a middle finger and a gun, like ironic stuff, and like just a squid and a heart, just like funny stuff. I'm like being really bad this episode. Like I made innuendos, I have the middle finger and stuff. We're having fun. Like now that I'm professional, like I could really go for it. So I'm a pickleballer. I'm a big pickleballer. So me, after the night of worship, actually, me, the other person that was on the camera, and another kid, he's my Sunday friend. We talked about him a few times. He just turned 17, and and we hang out for some reason, and then one other girl that was on the camera, we like pickleball, so we're like, oh, we could go pickleballing after the night of worship, and once we got there, it was like 8:55, and we played for 5 minutes, and then the lights shut off on us, and we're like, what? We're not gonna not do this. Like, we just got here. So we're like, we could try to just play in the dark and see what happens. And I didn't anticipate actually doing it for more than like 5 minutes. But just to do it a little bit, to not feel like what a waste. And I didn't know what else to do at 9 o'clock. I guess it was Saturday, so we could have did like literally anything, but I didn't know what else to do. So we were playing, and then it was 2-on-1. I think at that time it was me and the girl, and then against him, and then he was saying like, oh, I like can't see the ball, and we're like, yeah, it's dark, I know. And then he's like, no, it's got to be worse over here because of the light. And the light was shining at him on his side, so it was harder, so we could see him and the ball well. But the ball gets lost when it gets in the light on his side. So because it was from the parking lot light, he was being really, really bad, obviously, because he couldn't see. And then I was like, I'm the better one anyway. I'm the best one anyway. I'll go over there by myself, and then I'll play you guys. It was definitely harder, but you had to feel the ball. And I know that sounds crazy, but like I always think of this SpongeBob episode where SpongeBob's really good at the claw machine, and I think they call it a crane though in the episode, and and Squidward sucks at it, and Squidward's like obsessed with trying to get a toy, and SpongeBob does it like super easily all the time, and he's trying to teach Squidward, and he goes, Squidward, feel the crane, and he like does it with his eyes closed, and he just like feels it. And I never really fully understood that, I think, until this night with the pickleball. And it was really kind of poetic, like you had to like not panic if you didn't see it right away, and all you had to do was like stay ready and be present, and it'll catch the light eventually, and when it does, you can act on it. But when you're in that place of not knowing where the ball is, you have to just trust that you'll find your way when it's the right time. And that's like a real life thing too, if you want to apply that there. And I was still beating them senseless. It was insane. Like, they're like, do you have night vision? I was like, I'm just feeling the ball. And I think they didn't believe that. And I was like, I don't know, I just have really fast reactions, I guess. I don't know. Like, I think I talked about this last week, like, I don't have a loser mentality where, like, I can't see the ball, I quit. Like, I'm just like, okay. I know it's, like, roughly on this trajectory, and then I'll see it eventually. And we weren't keeping score, but it was, like, I was scoring, like, 4 points to every one of theirs. And I was even playing, if they were out, I would still play them, like if it was out of bounds, just because it's more fun, and if I could get to it, I might as well. I felt like Mike, he loved to talk trash. He was talking trash to Mutombo, and I think it was a playoff game, but I'm not 100% sure. And he's like, oh yeah, hey Mutombo, watch this. And he does a free throw with his eyes closed, and he swishes it, and he just felt the crane. And you know, it's also muscle memory, and like, he's just that confident and baller. But yeah, that was just one of the coolest things ever. And I feel like I'm better than your average bear at at feeling rather than seeing. Retroactively, I realize that sometimes I don't look at someone's eyes, but I feel like I'm looking in them rather than at them, if that makes sense. Like I'm looking at their insides and they're feeling, like I'm feeling what they're feeling. And you don't have to look in their eyes to know that all the time. So like sometimes I like look not directly at them and like focus on feeling them. So I don't know, maybe that's too crazy for people to understand, but yeah, I need to work on my eye contact regardless, but I just find that interesting. So this past weekend was the Dallas Cowboys losing, and I don't know if you could see this. I might try to do it and then I'll cut it out if we can't do it. Drip Baylss, who's like one of the famous analysts of sports, who's like controversial and stuff. He made a video about how he was mad at the Cowboys, and where is it? Here it is. So it's only 19 seconds long, but I want to watch it with you. I feel like I'm Mr. Rogers. It's picture in picture. So it starts off, this is so good. This is why I want to break this down. It's not just like, hey, watch this video. It's I want to break down this video. It's his kitchen door at the end, and you could see him standing with a jersey at the end, and then you hear, and then he starts. So the camera guy, whoever it was, his friend or whatever, or maybe his wife, which is even funnier that she would like go along with this. I like to think it was his stupid friend. So beforehand they were like, okay, I'll knock, and then once that happens, then you'll know you could go, which is so stupid. It should be, I'm giving Drip Baylss pointers for his skits or whatever he's doing, whatever you would call this. I know you don't know what it is yet, but you could do the knock thing if you want, but you could also just say go and then count to 2 yourself and then cut it later. And cutting it is a generous term, which means you just like move over the thing 2 seconds, literally. So it's very, very minimal. And he doesn't, you don't have to start all the way back there. So the video goes, and he's walking towards the thing, and he's huffing and puffing. Hilarious. It doesn't even, so right here is when you should start it. Cut all the rest out. You don't need any of that. So overacting. And then cut it way before that, obviously. So a lot happened. We need to break it down. So there it was. Did you hear it? Okay, you're gonna hear it. That was the knock. So then he's walking overacting so much, flipping it down like, what are you about to iron it? And then he looks at it, he shows it to the camera like we don't already know, and then he crumples it up so much overacting. He goes tss. Like wants to say something but doesn't know what to say. He bites his lip, dude. And then he almost falls over throwing it down. What, are you kidding me? Watch this. He's 71, by the way. He like falls back, dude. And then another one of my favorite parts is after he throws it and he almost falls, there's a rug for some reason in his kitchen, which I think there shouldn't be anyway. And the rug's so thick and his stupid shoes are so big that it looks like he's about to fall over again. So watch. He loves shoes, and he just looks so stupid in them. Like, it looks like he buys it too big, or his feet are too big for his body or something. And also, I just want to take this in a little bit. So I know you can't see, but there's an Anchorman poster in his hallway, which I honestly respect that. But there's also, he has Steeler colors. Oh, I just revealed that I have so many pictures of myself. They have black and gold backsplash, which is Steeler colors. And if you're a Cowboys fan, as hard as he is, I guess he's not anymore, but you definitely hate the Steelers. So just the backsplash in general is not good, in my opinion. And like, it just looks like he could afford something so much better than that. Let's just watch it all one more time. The huffing and puffing too. It's hilarious. I think that's all I wanted to say about that. It's a great video. I just wanted to share that with you guys because I could this time, and it was recent and relevant in this timeline. So I was feeling really good. I talked about the cabin in the woods that I did last weekend. Or yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. Last podcast, and I felt so full and I was feeling really good. And then the next day after this podcast, my ex's friend commented on the Nuance Nuisance, which is the one where I talk about the breakup for 40 minutes or whatever. And that was my worst fear. And she did it at like 1 a.m. or something, so I didn't see it until the morning, but that was like a good way to wake up, you know? Like, good way to get your blood pumping and heart beating, and ready for the day. Who needs caffeine? I just need my worst fear to be realized. So that was like my worst fear going into putting out that. I might even talked about it. My worst fear was having her friends find the podcast and then add fuel to the fire by hyping her up, by kicking me down. And yeah, that was my worst fear. Like, that whole week I was like sick thinking about that. And honestly, like, I like that her friend commented to defend her friend. Like, that's a good friend. So in general, with like taking me out of it, I'm glad that she did that. And what was I gonna say? Oh, so the comment was something I didn't even totally understand. It's not about respecting a boundary. ... She has an allergy, all caps. She almost died, period. So I didn't know exactly what that was referring to. I watched it again to like make sure I didn't, like, I haven't watched it since I put it out, so I didn't know what she was talking about when she said boundary. And the only time I said boundary was I said I respect your boundary about like her wanting space at one point. And she said it's not about respecting your boundary, she has an allergy. So I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know if that meant like you shouldn't have respected her boundary because she almost died, or you should have respected her boundary better because she almost died. So what I said was, I know and I feel terrible. I tried to be sure it was safe for her, but regardless, I should have been there for her after it happened. Better for her when it happened. So I think that addressed it without fully even understanding it totally. And so they haven't said anything after that. So I guess it's fine. Like, you know, you don't win that. There's no winning in that. The best thing that could happen is like, they're like, whatever, you know, that's the best case scenario in that scenario. So it really wasn't that mean towards me. Like, she was passionate in defending her friend, which I said I like. So of all the things she could have said, that wasn't the worst. And that kind of taught me that your worst fear isn't as bad as you think most of the time. But in this case, for sure. I was surprised how well I took it, honestly. It definitely was a blow, but I absorbed it. And I talked about how my worst fear was her friend seeing it and stuff. And I was definitely like worried about my ex seeing it and what she would think about it. But I thought it was very fair, and it wasn't like I threw her under the bus or anything. But I was more worried about our friends because they didn't understand us like we understood us, if that makes sense. So, I mean, they understood us less than we even did. Like, I feel like we didn't even understand each other that well. Like, I shouldn't say that. Like, we understood each other, but I have a better understanding of that whole relationship now that I'm out of it, and I have some retrospect, and I'm sure she does too. I hope. So they might take things the wrong way and not understand the reason why I said it, and only she might know why I said it, or why I said it that way, or whatever. So I was afraid they would like all attack me and pounce on me. I kind of didn't even want to put that out, that whole podcast in general, because I was so afraid of all that. And but not including that story would feel really weird, to have my podcast not include that, because everything that was going on in my life was sitting on that sitting on that table, if you will, that table of sadness and guilt, of the relationship and the breakup specifically, and little by little the table got chipped away, and stuff in my life fell on stable ground. Like I said, like everything on this table was, my family, work, fun, watching movies, playing video games, all that stuff was sitting on this table of sadness and guilt. And then I chipped away at it by going to therapy and thinking about, different stuff and working through it mentally, and kind of reclaiming stuff. Like she made fun of me how I don't cut my toenails and stuff, and so I cut my toenails now, and they look terrible, and but I do it, and so I'm doing like all this little stuff to hopefully, like I said, chip away, and sometimes it's big stuff. I don't know why I'm burping so much, I'm sorry. So so it got chipped away, and as it got chipped away, things in my life fell on stable ground, and it wasn't all dependent and sitting on top of this sadness and guilt, from this, like, I don't like to think of it as failed, but we're not married, so it's not it's not what we planned, not that we were planning to get married, but that's like the end goal eventually. So anyway, so it got chipped away, and now it's like just a little dinner tray table kind of thing. So it's not as big as like the king, freaking, like those tables in movies where the king's on one side and the queen's on the other, and it's like 8 miles away. So it's not that big table anymore where I fit all my life on that. It's a lot smaller, and most things are on stable ground. But clearly there's a little bit there from that interaction with her friend. And everything in my life isn't gravy, but I feel in a way better place than I've been, since the breakup, for sure. And I have a lot of work to do in the direction of my life. Like I said, I don't know where I'm going to live in like a month or whatever. But at least it's not hidden behind a king-size table of my past relationship. So I'm really happy with that. But what I was saying before was I was listening to a podcast about forgiving yourself, like literally the same day as seeing that comment. And then you like hear that stuff like, yeah, I forgive myself, whatever. But like, do you really? And the way they're talking about it like made me feel like, oh, you're right. I should and I deserve to be forgiven. And I might not get that from anyone else, but I can forgive myself. And so I forgive myself. And that's not to say I don't feel bad and wish it was different, that how I handled that situation and everything, but I do accept and forgive myself for the way that the best that I could do in that moment during that time. Like I want to be sensitive to, like, I don't want to be like, I'm off the hook, because she really did almost die, so I don't want to do something that would make anyone feel like less important, like by my forgiving myself. I don't know, maybe that's too maybe I'm thinking too deep about it or something. But I talked about last week that I was in the process of deleting all the pictures that we had together, and I finally did that, and it took about 7 hours, and that's why I didn't delete them for so long, because I knew it would take that long. And so what I do, I can't like completely just delete everything. For some reason, that's just like not an option for me. Like, so I gathered them all together, them on my phone and from Snapchat. Cause Snapchat's, yeah, I talked about that last week. Snapchat's the worst, cause you relive it every day when it's like, were you doing this with her last year, today? Gosh, it really, I waited too long, but I'm glad I did it finally. And it was 1,000, 1,300, 1,300, whatever, pictures. Like, that's a ton of pictures. That's crazy. Pictures and videos. But so anyway, it took, most of the time was like it transferring from my photos to the drive and then deleting. But after I took the USB out and it was done, I was really tripping out. I was holding this USB my whole life for 10 months. And it was, full of happy, scared, laughing and loving moments, like all in this little thing that is literally smaller than my thumb. Like, it made me think of this line from Tyler, the Creator, where he said, "That's a mansion on this USB," meaning like all his songs were on this little USB, and once he like sold these songs, it'd be like 8 million or whatever. So he could buy a mansion with what's on this USB right now. So obviously, no one's gonna buy me a mansion for this USB that I have in my hand, but the weight of something so small, like all this information into this little thing that I'm just holding in my hand, the weight of that reminded me of that line. So I was overwhelmed by that thought and not having it anymore, and all that stuff. So I wanted to distract myself, but I noticed that I wanted to distract myself. I was telling Ricky he has to deal with his feelings, and because he said, "Oh, I'm gonna do this, blah blah blah," and I was like, "No, dude, you need to just sit at home and deal with your feelings." And it's not gonna be easy, but it's not supposed to be easy. Like, this is just what it is, and you're gonna have to do it eventually. It's gonna come out in different ways if you don't. Whew, it's intense. So my instinct was to distract myself, like go on my phone, play a game or whatever, and instead, like, I literally just sat back and breathed, like 4 in, 4 out, just all in. I just breathed in for 15 minutes. So yeah, it didn't even take that long, and as soon as I started breathing, the mantra or whatever you want to call it is came in my mind is I'm okay just now, meaning nothing was attacking or hurting me in that moment. Nothing was happening. It was all stories in my head that were freaking me out, but I was just sitting in a chair. So how bad could that be? So I just needed to remind myself to be present and like, it's okay. I'm okay just now, and you are too, and don't forget that, because that's important. So the last thing that I want to talk about, and my therapist and I were talking about yesterday, was I put boundaries in my life, which I don't do normally, and it doesn't come naturally, but I put boundaries for people up, and then these new things have been happening, like new prospects of things is like good, possibly, and that wasn't happening before, and we think it's because I put these boundaries up, and that like makes space for the things that I actually want. So we were talking about how I think she brought up like a revolving door for some reason, and so I was like, yeah, that makes sense to me, because when you don't have boundaries up, no one wants to go through your revolving door, because they could just walk straight past you if there's nothing impeding them from getting to the other side of whatever that is. they're not going to go through your turnstile. They're just going to walk right through. But if you put boundaries up, you're going to let the right people through, and they'll go through your turnstile because, or revolving door, or whatever you want to say, because you put those boundaries up. So similarly, I think I couldn't think of a good analogy. I thought of like a house. Like if you want a house, put boundaries up, and only have, a house-shaped hole in your boundary for you to get that house, because then that's the only way you'll get that house. But you could do that with like a future spouse too, or even a girlfriend, whatever. So you put like, the traits, the shape of the traits that you want, and so that'll fit, only those people will fit through, and then you'll find someone, and that attracts someone who has those things. There's just something about that. So and it made me think of like, Bugs Bunny or another cartoon that like they run into a wall and then they have like their shape. Like that's what I think. If you want a Bugs Bunny, have a Bugs Bunny shaped door. And that's it. This was a fun one, man. This was really long, it felt like. It's really cool to have like this set and all this stuff. I hope it works out. I'm worried about the editing process because it's going to be a lot more gigabytes. Boring, but thank you guys so much. I love you. Please come back to listen to me again, because I want to keep in touch, and I hope this made you think.
Welcome, Modern Talk.